You are listening to Trophy Horse with your hosts, Tricky Mick, Alex, I Yield to No One,
Steve,
and Sid.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Trophy Wars. This is episode 583. I'm your host, Tricky Mick. Alongside with me, the man, the myth, the legend. It's Alex.
Amid the heaps and heaps of twisted metal, I have emerged victorious.
He brings the awesome. It's I Yield to No One.
I'm back. Hi.
And he is the real G. It's Matt.
Bringing the fire tonight.
How'd you like that intro, Matt? I've been working on it.
I appreciate it.
He's been workshopping it. He's been sharing it with his dog and his daughter. It's like, hey, how's this sound?
I was gonna say, is it shared with people who don't like him because need some work?
Harley likes it. That's all.
Ain't
really
nothing but a Matt G thing, baby.
Calling back to the first episode.
Wow. How you guys doing? SummerSlam was last night. I know, Matt, you don't really care about wrestling. Yield, I know you went to a friend's house to watch it.
I did.
That is, I don't want to get into it because that is one of our listener questions, so we'll get into that later.
What's up, Curtis?
But yeah, I'm tired. I don't feel well. I I tried to do a 12-hour stream for Extra Life yesterday. Made it 8.5 hours, and then was just a little too sick to keep going on with it, so I had to end the stream. But I want to thank everybody that popped in last night. And we raised about $200 last night for Extra Life, which is always pretty cool. So yeah,
I think maybe you just need more sleep, man. I think that's why you're not feeling so well. You need more sleep.
That is definitely a thing. I mean, even when I'm on vacation, I don't sleep. But yeah. So thank you, everybody. We're gonna do another. Obviously, we're gonna do the 24-hour stream come November. Details exist with that. But I made an unpopular decision with Extra Life that I told a couple people what my plans were, and some people are saying I'm crazy. Some people are saying I'm stupid, but here's my plan. Like,
It has nothing to do with Extra Life.
Spider-Man 2 comes out a week before Extra Life. So I just said I'm going to wait to play Spider-Man 2 and just play it live on stream for Extra Life and go through the entire game. I'm getting a lot of feedback saying I shouldn't wait. I shouldn't blow through the game in one day. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, am I just crazy for wanting to try to play through Spider-Man 2 all in one day?
I mean, if you want to, knock yourself out. You game how you want to game.
I don't think you're crazy. I mean, you can probably get through this main story. If you're not doing side stuff or not going for the platinum, you can definitely get through it in one day. I would guarantee.
Well, you could do it, but the problem is, like, somebody like me is not going to watch your stream because I don't want to get the game spoiled.
That was another feedback I got, is that they don't want the game spoiled. I mean, I can't anticipate the main campaigns more than 20 hours. So I'll probably get through the main game. So right now I'm trying to get through Final Fantasy 16, and that's I'm at the end, and it's a struggle because now I'm doing all the side missions. All right.
Totally unrelated.
Okay.
But this is the one small problem I have with Extra Life now.
Okay.
Is everything revolves around streaming?
Not really. I mean,
really?
It is a popular thing to do for Extra Life, but it's not like one of the requirements. Like somebody like me,
Well, I know it's not a requirement.
Somebody like me, I stream just because I like interacting with the community, raising the money, whatnot. But I mean, they say you don't even have to play video games. You can play tabletop games. You can play ping pong. You can do whatever you want. The idea is that you're playing games, not necessarily video games, for 24 hours. So,
I mean, Extra Life has always been on the honor system when it comes to how much you play and how much you don't play. Right. Really, all they care is that you're out there raising awareness for Extra Life and their campaign and just raising money. But no one's ever been called out for, well, you didn't play exactly 24 hours.
Yeah, well, I did, but that was somebody did that as a joke because I ended the stream after 24 hours, which I wasn't aware because how tired I was that it was actually daylight savings time. So the clock got set back an hour, and I ended it at 7 a.m. instead of 8 a.m. But on my clock in front of me, it said 8 a.m. because I never, the clock never reset. So somebody called me out for that, but that was done as a joke because I already played for 24 hours.
Yeah, 24 hours is 24 hours. Daylight savings time. Daylight savings time is going to go away, so who cares?
You think so?
There's a measure in Congress that passed unanimously to get rid of daylight savings time.
I don't know.
Here's me holding my breath.
Well, I'm deciding because I'm like, of all the things we have to worry about in this world, we have to worry about daylight savings time.
And we're worried about daylight savings time.
Well,
that's our tax dollars at work.
Right.
Well, I mean, just be glad that they could agree to do anything together, for God's sakes.
Well, on the list of important things in this world,
I get what you're saying.
Getting our politicians to agree on daylight savings time, there's more important things to worry about than.
Well, that's the American political system in action for you.
Can't argue with that.
I'm not even. We have people to chat. Rick says Final Fantasy 16 sucks. He was in my chat the entire time ripping that game apart. It was funny.
I had to ask: has Rick played it, or is he just based on what he's seen?
Based on what he's seen.
Has he played any of the other games?
We can wait for an answer, but I'm getting messages. And then Matt says Tears of the Kingdom Game of the Year. Unfortunately, Matt, you're right, but it doesn't deserve it. Rick says Zelda sucks after the SNES, in his opinion. And then a lot of back and forth between Matt. Darth Knight says, so far, Jedi Survivor is his Game of the Year.
Where are you going?
What do you mean, where am I going?
Where are you at?
Are you on Twitch?
Yes, this is Twitch comments. Sorry.
Oh, I'm like,
I'm sorry.
what path did you start going down? Because if you're going down your streaming path, we need to cut it off and move on with the show. But if you're going down the Twitch path, that is fine.
No. I'm sorry. I thought it was clear.
He did say that there was people in chat.
He did say that.
Rick says he. Okay, I throw it off for a second. I think Rick says he's bought Jedi Survivor for his son, but he hasn't played it yet.
No, Dark Knight 82 said he's bought Jedi Survivor for his son. No, Rick bought Jedi Survivor. I don't know. Never mind me.
Okay. Can I lead the show, Brett? I mean, I've only done this 583 times.
Really?
Really? 583? You want to bet?
More like, what, let's say like 300 times, considering all the times you bounced out and left the responsibility to me or to Yield?
Yes, but I've also done other episodes of, the Patreon episodes, the E3 specials, all that stuff.
Those aren't trophy whores.
Yeah,
those aren't trophy whores.
I
can't be like, I hosted some episodes of the Loot Bros and that some trophy whores total.
All I said was I hosted shows. I didn't say trophy horse shows. See, you guys are nitpicking. This. You know what? I hate all of you. Bearded Nurse says ding tricky. I don't know what that means. And then he says Diablo 4 is his Game of the Year. Rick says Matt putting his stamp on as full host. I didn't know Matt was a full host yet.
Is that what we're doing?
Did you miss the meeting that we all talked about that at?
Was I present for that meeting?
Pretty sure you were.
Yeah, pretty sure.
All right, so Darth Knight says Final Fantasy 16 and Zelda are not his type of games, but he knows they're loved. And Rick says he should be. Yeah, we had a vote. So apparently Rick was on the vote to make Matt full host. All right, so I guess the cat's out of the bag. Matt, you are officially a full host. I thought we agreed to like see how long it takes people to figure it out, but you guys just kind of confirmed it. Well, one person figured it out, but we could have kept the joke going for a while.
Well, so, it wasn't a joke.
Well, considering you're kind of like, well, I don't know. Was there a vote? You should have just let it go and then just kept going, kind of like, oh.
Apparently
you drew attention to the fact that it was something important.
T Diddy apparently spoiled it 2 days ago. So.
Well, because it was my fault for not telling him that we were gonna see how long we can go with this, and then he posted a meme. It was like, hey, this is what we're doing. I want to see how long we can go.
So Matt, welcome. You're officially a host now. So yes, everybody.
About time you welcome him to the show after how many weeks?
Oh my! You know what? You guys are trying to make me look bad, but we had the. Never mind.
No, Tricky. No, you make yourself look bad all the time anyway, so you don't need us for that.
Okay, I do enough bad on my own that I don't need help doing bad. And
exactly.
What in the man?
That's what I'm applauding. Thank you, Matt.
And I like some rabid wrestling fans on his own. What in the man on his own podcast?
And Yield, I got a bone to pick with you, sir.
Okay. Go ahead.
Because you've been picking on me on Facebook a lot lately.
Well, okay. Well, go after what you want to go after, and I'll defend it or absolutely agree with it.
Okay, so Rick put a post in the Trophy Looting group.
Yeah.
Asking for help for the Tomb Raider PS4.
Yeah.
And several people, including yourself, responded.
Yeah.
And then Rick comes back a couple hours later and says, thanks for all the replies. I did it with someone I messaged off her PlayStation profiles. And I just put a meme up there going, wow, like making a joke like, oh, you'd rather go to randoms instead of, going with your boys. And then you called me out saying, giving a guy crap when you responded 3 hours after his post.
Yeah.
That's not what I was doing.
Really? Seems like it to me.
Wow.
You posted a gif of a wow, which I knew that's what you were doing, going with someone else and going with the homies from the site. And it's like, whoa, wait, you're calling a guy out and you're posted 3 hours after the fact.
Well, if you're asking for help, I mean, it's pretty reasonable to be a little patient and wait for guys to respond.
Well, maybe he didn't want to wait.
That's fine. That's what I was calling out. I mean,
well, you see, this is why I tell you, you need to be specific instead of leaving it open for interpretation.
This reminds me of the time back in the day when my work had hurt feelings reports.
Hurt feelings reports?
Yeah. You could fill one out if you get your feelings hurt. They don't do that no more.
You guys are a bunch of snowflakes, man.
Oh, listen to you. You've been picking on me on Facebook.
Listen, you guys, no.
You're so mean to me.
Because I'll tell you exactly how I felt when Neil did that. You guys, including the community,
a little bit?
pick on me all the mother effing time. And the second I pick on somebody else, Neil comes to this defense going, Tricky, you're wrong for this. I'm like, damn. We might have a new name for Matt. The Bearded Nerd has suggested that we call Matt the Trophy Phoenix.
See, okay. No shot at Matt, but that would require him to be earning trophies.
Agreed. Yes.
I like it. But that would be
here's
earning trophies.
Because 90% of the games do this. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to download the Game of the Month on PlayStation Plus, load it up to the load screen. It'll probably give me a trophy to increase my count.
There is, what was it, Diner Dash? There was Diner Dash. It gave you a trophy for just pressing the start button for starting the game.
There are a few games that do that, yes.
Rick and Matt, I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name because I'm not really that great. But Rick has suggested Trophy Granellis.
I mean, listen, I'm not here to rename the podcast.
No,
I'm not here.
This is a nickname for you.
I already have my nickname.
Steamy Granelli.
Oh no, I've been honored with the name Mattacon by T Diddy.
Are you sure it's not Starscream? Oh, you dick! All right, I deserve that one.
A Decepticon is one of his favorite Transformers. So.
Well, I mean, if he's Starscream, then who's Megatron?
I don't want to be Megatron. I'm not a freaking Decepticon.
I just say I'm not Megatron, so that would be this tricky.
I'm not Megatron. If
Well, you're definitely not Prime.
I'm definitely Prime. If anybody. Rick says Tricky is Bumblebee.
No, Tricky can be Wheeljack.
Who the fuck is Wheeljack?
Exactly. Also, I can't believe you don't know who Wheeljack is.
I'm not a big Transformers guy.
Then you can't be Prime.
You definitely can't claim Prime.
I'm always saying I'm Prime because I'm the leader.
No, you're more like Ultra Magnus, who thinks he's the leader, but really is Prime's bitch.
Ooh, snap.
All right, we're moving on. Updated trophy counts. I am level 876, total trophies of 28,316 with 776 platinums. Alex, who doesn't have the agenda
I have misplaced my phone. I don't know where my phone is.
Alex is currently a level 486 with a trophy count of 9,045 and a stellar platinum count of 152 platinums in 151 games.
Well done.
Because Alex has gotten 2 platinums in the last week.
No, I've only gotten 1. I've gotten 200%, but only one of those had a platinum.
I call it a platinum. I'm giving you more credit than PlayStation is willing to give you.
Well, I agree that game should have a platinum, but we'll talk about that when we
get into
talk about what we've been
playing.
playing.
Yield, your trophy, sir.
I am currently a level 501 with a trophy count of 9753 and holding steady with a platinum count of 176.
All right, Matt.
Speaking of holding steady, I have not changed from 218 at 1266 trophies and 0 platinums.
All right, and Sid is level 836 with 23,518 trophies and 726 platinums. All right, so let's get into what we're playing. Alex, you playing 2 games. Why do you think that the second game should have a platinum?
So, unfortunately, I did not watch.
It doesn't matter what you think.
So, unfortunately, I didn't watch any Twisted Metal on Peacock this week. I intended to, so I could talk about it on the show, but I didn't. From what I can gather, though, Tricky seemed to enjoy the show, and he's never played a Twisted Metal game. And Levi said that he lost interest in the show, so he stopped watching it. So, my guess is, if you go into the show,
it's still fun when he doesn't respond to it.
To be like, if you go into it expecting it not to be, if you're a Twisted Metal fan, a long time Twisted Metal fan, you go into the show expecting it to be like the game series, you're probably going to be disappointed. If you just go into it with an open mind and kind of disconnected from the actual game series, but expect maybe some Easter eggs along the way, you'll probably be better off. So I will watch some of it this week so I can talk about more about it on the show next week. But I've been playing Twisted Metal 2 and Twisted Metal Black because I found out recently, within the last week, that those games had fucking trophies. Twisted Metal Black has been out since 2015 on the PS4, and I didn't know it had trophies. But yeah, Twisted Metal 2 has got a platinum. 30 trophies, maybe 30 something, a good amount. The original Twisted Metal, which is a PS1 classic as well on the PlayStation Plus, also has a platinum trophy with trophies. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Beat this level, beat the level with all. You get a trophy for beating the game with every character. A few miscellaneous combat trophies. A few discover this secret. Trophy for that. So nothing too hard. I think I got the platinum trophy in 23 hours. So. There you go. And I got to say, Twisted Metal 2, as much as I enjoy that game, I grew up loving that game, and probably nostalgia is what really keeps me from, blasting the game in general, but the controls are terrible. They're awful. And granted, yeah, the game's from, 96, so what do you expect? But it's just basically them putting the original game on the PlayStation Network with rewinds, save data, so you can save the game now, and trophies, so which is good. But man, it would have done some good to give it an updated control scheme or something like that, because it gets rough at times. Twisted Metal Black, much better control scheme. Takes some time to still get used to it, but for a game from 2001, I still think it's The control scheme is completely manageable. To me, the best Twisted Metal game ever made. This one does not have a platinum trophy, which is extremely disappointing. It's only got 13 total trophies. And a lot of them make sense. You gotta to unlock one of the big secret character, you have to beat the game with every character, so you get a trophy for that. And you get a trophy for beating the game, unlocking all the characters. There's 4 secret characters aside from Minion, who's the big super secret character. You got to beat everyone to get. There's a trophy tied to finding those characters in levels and unlocking them. So all the trophies make sense. They could have done a lot more with the trophies. Like the game deserves a platinum, I think, and you could easily double the trophy count by doing certain things like. This game has a lot of secrets. For instance, on the prison ship level, which is really cool because you're on a boat to start off, and the boat is taking you into the prison. So you're at sea at first, and then eventually you dock, and then you have like the entire ship and then also the prison area to duel in. So that level's super cool. But on the boat, there are 3 inmates sitting in electric chairs, and you can shoot this little electrical box in front of them to electrocute them. And that's just like a super cool secret, like that they could have like a bronze trophy for electrocuting the inmates or something like that. I don't know. They could have done more with the trophies. So trophy list leaves a little bit to be desired, especially what really hurts is there's no platinum. But overall, I still love Twisted Metal Black. I still think the most fun way to play that game is on invertible mode, on God mode, because that game's fucking hard. Like the Twisted Metal games are notoriously hard. So I, in general, think the best way to play them is with invulnerability on. And then after Twisted Metal, I picked up NFL Blitz on the PS3. I basically got a couple trophies in that years ago and stopped playing it. But even though the servers are down and you can't get all the trophies, including there's not a platinum. There's just 1 silver and a bunch of bronze. But even though the servers are down and you can't get a bunch of the trophies, or half of them at least, there are still some ultra rares in there that I can mine. So I'm definitely doing that for the annual rarity event. And I actually even downloaded Twisted Metal on PS3 because I think I'm going to try to get some of those trophies again. Because I think that game, Twisted Metal on PS3, was a 10 out of 10 difficulty as far as the trophies go. So a major pain in the ass. So I'm not going to be able to get all the trophies, but again, I can get some to up my totals in Gare's annual rarity event. Got to keep Daryl below me. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing.
Alex, you're a mood killer. You know that?
How am I a mood killer?
Because you're supposed to react to the things to be fun, and you just I'm just gonna keep talking.
I'm not gonna sell it. I'm gonna go through like a pro, like I've been podcasting for hundreds of episodes, and I'm gonna get my message out.
You're no fun.
See, Tricky, you're sitting here trying to throw me off my game, and I'm on my game.
I'm not trying to throw you off a game.
Give me some credit.
I'm just returning the favor that you did to me for like 50 episodes, like 5 years ago.
Oh, 5 years ago. You gotta let things go, brother.
I did let it go.
Let things go.
I let it go.
Also,
and now
you're hanging on to too much. That's also probably why you're not feeling well.
I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing
That's
it
why
back.
you got the sour belches. You gotta let go, man.
I got the egg burps.
The egg burps.
Yeah, I got egg burps. Yield,
Right,
what are you playing?
Mr. Rumbly Tumbly. Let's move on to the next folks.
Yield, what are you playing, sir?
Been playing some AC4. I've been playing some Rocket League. Been playing some Borderlands pre-sequel on the 4. That's the co-op game that Riley and Predator Scum and Homer Get Stuff and myself are all playing through on Fridays. Been playing some Deep Rock Galactic, working towards my platinum in that. Been playing some World of Warship Legends, working on my Bureau ships. I did play a little bit of Borderlands 3 today, kind of got back into that. And I've been playing some Power Wash Simulator. And that's it. Kind of been stuck in a rut.
All right, Matt.
But I need to finish one of those games before I move on to something else. So
when do you plan to start in Jedi Survivor?
When I finish one of those games.
Okay, because I was gonna say you've had that game for a while. Have you even opened the box yet?
Yes, I have opened the box.
And
I have pulled out my lightsaber.
And what do you think of the saber?
It's freaking heavy.
It is. But
here's the thing, man. You're asking about Jedi Survivor. I want to know when the man's gonna play Hot Wheels Unleashed.
That's true. I still have to play that.
I want to know when he's going to play Spider-Man, when he's going to play God of War, when he's going to play any of the marquee games of the last 3 years.
See, Spider-Man I do have. God of War is not even on my radar.
I thought you said you were going to play God of War, but you had to go back and play the first 3 first.
No, I said if I ever do, I will start at the very beginning, but I have no desire to play God of War.
Okay.
God of War has never really intrigued me.
Pro tip for your saber. I did some research to find out because my saber wasn't working.
Okay.
It only turns on if you buy a blade.
Well, where do you buy a blade?
You have to get it from the Disney. You can get it from Walt Disney World, but you can order them online. I'm not exactly sure of the name. I think it's Galaxy's Edge is the online store.
That's the Star Wars section within.
But
Disney World.
But that saber is actually from the same sabers they sell in Disney World. So they are compatible with those blades.
Okay.
So if you turn on your saber and it's not turning on,
which it didn't,
that's why. It's because it has to have a blade in it for it to activate.
Well, then why did they even give us batteries?
I'm sitting there trying to figure out how to turn it on. I finally figured out it was the rectangle on the side. You have to move it up or down. But yeah, it's about 3 weeks of trying to figure it out, and then I finally contacted Limited Run Games. They said, yeah, the only way it turns on is the blade. I'm like, then why the hell did you just give us a blade?
So let me get this straight. Y'all essentially have DLC for the add-on content, add-on purchases for the lightsaber you bought through Limited Run Games.
For the collector's edition, yes. They have DLC for the collector's edition. Physical DLC.
Physical DLC, yes.
Rick has made some comments in the chat. He says, God of Boar. Should have stuck to Greek mythology. Horizon Zero Yawn.
Oh, now, hey.
Now you've gone too far.
Yeah, whoa.
Far.
Or Many Yawn. And then
hey, more like Slay the Tire. Am I right? We're talking about bull.
And then he says, Days Gone too slow playing this game.
I won't argue with that.
Don't let the game's director hear you. Ross or whatever his name is. He'll put out a statement about how he hates you, and he'll never get over that game.
Well, I mean, if you've played it, it's
a good game.
It's a really slow beginning. I've told anybody who's wanted to play it. It's a really slow beginning. Once you get through that, it's a really good game, but you have to get through it. It's like, what have I been told? Was it, I can't remember what Fallout game it was.
Well, Rick says it's an average game.
Well, whichever one where it's got the town that's got the nuke in the middle of it.
Megaton. That's 3.
So I started to play a Fallout game because it sounded interesting, and I couldn't get through like 2 hours into it, and I'm like, all right, I can't slog through this anymore. And I was told after that if I'd have hung on for like another hour, then I'd have gotten out of the tutorial and the game really opens up and yada yada, and I just never went back. That's my comparison to what Days Gone is. It's just got a really long tutorial, and it's a kind of a slog. And when you get through that, then the game opens up, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good game.
Okay, sorry. Rick says, I ain't playing shit for 100 hours till it gets good. He says, it's like Death Stranding. Oh, yeah, after the first 100 hours, it gets really good.
I see it. I still don't know if I want to do Death Stranding. Because I just get...
It's a slow burn.
As much as I like Hideo Kojima's storytelling, those 45-minute cutscenes do me in.
Definitely don't play Final Fantasy 16.
Dude, the last Final Fantasy game I played was on the SNES.
This game is thoroughly annoying to me. It's like you play for 5 minutes and then you get like a 5-hour cutscene.
So, okay.
Obviously, I'm exaggerating a little bit.
I'm going to say this, and I'm sure you'll get called out on your podcast that you'll do.
Okay.
Then why are you playing a Final Fantasy game?
I like Final Fantasy games.
Do you?
Yeah, I do like Final Fantasy games. But
because that's, to me, not having played a Final Fantasy game since the SNES. This is what they're known for.
Yes, but it's the different. It's the changes that they're making are just weird. Like, I don't mind the cutscene so much, but it's the cut, because obviously if I'm playing Metal Gear, I don't have a problem with cutscenes. It's the
obviously that this is why I'm flabbergasted.
It's
the cutscenes are too long, but I love Metal Gear.
It's not even that the cutscenes are so long. It's the fact that you play for 5 minutes, then you do a cutscene. And when you're going from town to town, like literally, okay, this is like a mini spoiler, but it's not a spoiler in any way, shape, or form.
Well, a spoiler's a spoiler, man, whether it's a mini spoiler or not.
Okay, well, you'll understand what I'm saying in 2 seconds. I'm traveling. I'm at the end of the game, and I'm traveling from.
Are you flirting with disaster?
One point to another, okay? So, the way the map's set up is like I'm at this location, and then I run to the edge to go to the next location. But instead of just letting me run to the location, it now brings up a mini map, or brings up the main map, and then I have to fast travel to that location. So I'm basically fast traveling 5 feet in front of me. And it does that several times. Another thing that I'm not liking about Final Fantasy is there's a open door mechanic, okay? So you guys play games well enough. Like, you come up to a door, you press the button, it opens the door, right? In Final Fantasy 16, I have to press X to open the door, and then I have to hold R2 down to actually do the animation for him opening the door. Why? Why add that added step into it? Just let me open the door, I press an X. Now I got to press X and then wait for him to go to the door. Then I have to hold on R2 for him to open the door. It's just, I don't know. It's minor annoyances. I just think the way they structured this is just bad.
It's immersive gameplay, Tricky.
Not like this. This is just ridiculous. Anyway, so I've been playing that, and I've been playing Division 2. Matt, I just added you to the folder. I just gave you access. So anyway, yeah, I've been playing Division 2. I've been playing that. I tried to play My Little Pony a little bit as I edited it, because I try to play like a mindless game when I'm editing that I don't need the sound on or anything like that. I played that for about 10 minutes, and I was done. Just seemed annoying to me. I'm trying to look to see if there's anything else I played. I got my PlayStation on pause next to me. Hold on.
Gripping radio.
Gripping radio. I downloaded Hellblade because I'm going to go through that.
Didn't you already play Hellblade?
Yeah, haven't you played it?
As I said on the show before, I got to the third act and then realized I forgot one of the collectibles and got discouraged and didn't go back.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. You want to know how many times I played that game to get to platinum?
3?
3.
Yeah.
And loved each. Well, the third time I was starting to get annoyed, but I knew where I needed to go. But I love. You have to play. I think playing through it a second time makes you appreciate it even more.
Well, listen, I'm not trying to justify my thing or trying to say like I did the right thing. I'm just saying I went through, got discouraged because I realized I missed a collectible, and said I'll come back to this, and just never did. I wasn't. It's not. I'm not saying
you have a problem.
I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I'm just saying it's just one of those things like I stopped playing and then it was going. Rick says you got to give Tricky credit. He just throws out that he played My Little Pony like it's nothing. Of course.
That I didn't call him out. I just let it go, Rick. I saw it. I saw it earlier when I was doing a enter his trophy count. I'm like, oh my God, really? I thought we were past this.
I didn't even bother hiding the trophies either, Yield.
I'd be more shocked if he didn't play it.
I did play DC Super Pets, and I did play. Oh, what was the other one? I don't remember the other one.
Are these actually earning you points in the rarity event, or are you just doing this for easy platinums?
I couldn't even tell you.
You don't even know why you're playing them anymore. You're so lost in the weeds, you don't even know why you're playing these games.
No, I play them as mindless games that I'm just like doing something. I was like, I'm gonna earn trophies while I'm editing because I can just turn the sound off and edit and just keep going with that. It's possibly why I missed the typing last week that you called me out for. Yeah. So I downloaded that. I'm trying to see if there's anything else. I played Moss. I went back to try to get the PlayStation 5 version of it. So I downloaded Moss and Moss Book 2. I think I got them both for $20, which is not bad. And then there's another game that I don't want to say that I'm going to play, but when I get started with that, well, I don't know why I wouldn't say it. I downloaded Saints Row. I'm going to play that. So
I picked up out of a GameStop deal that was buy one, get one free. I picked up Saints Row.
So Rick says, what were you expecting from Tricky if you stopped? I don't know. He goes, was the plat too hard? No, the plat wasn't hard. It just got discouraged and just like it was one of those moments I was like, oh, fuck, I missed a collectible. All right, I'll come back and get it another time, and it just never went back.
See, I mean, you do you. I can't play a game my first time through with a guide because for me it ruins the experience.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't using a guide. I just went to. I can actually tell you the scene. It was the third act, and there's like a pillar. Towards the screen that you had to walk to, and I just noticed one of the things was missing. So I didn't use a guide. I just noticed through, I don't know, the stone or whatever it was, that one of the symbols was not highlighted, letting me know that I missed one. And that's why I went, okay, I'll come back to this.
I don't think that's right because you don't know if you've missed any until the end of the game.
All right. Well, I mean, I still have my save, so I can just load it up and go right to that part, and I can take a screenshot and whatnot. Okay. So Dark Knight says My Little Pony might be game of the year, and then Rick says, I mean, it's up there. It's the Dark Souls of pony games.
That's good stuff.
All right, so we're not in the reader or the listener question parts, but Rick wants to know a question, and I'm going to step away to use the bathroom real quick. Rick wants to know question for the show: my favorite My Little Pony or Care Bear? We'll start with you, Matt. What's your favorite My Little Pony or Care Bear?
Wasn't there a Care Bear with like the shamrock on him?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that
I can't
one.
remember exactly what his name was, but yes.
That one, because when I'm burning him with a flamethrower, it shows how unlucky he is. Yeah, we got dark real quick.
I mean,
So I really can't. I know zero ponies, and I don't really know. Let's see, Lionheart. That was the name of a Care Bear, wasn't it? He was the lion.
No, I think that was. No, wait. Yes.
Well, the lion. That's my favorite Care Bear because I can't really think of any of the other ones.
I really don't know if I had a favorite Care Bear. I mean, I watched the cartoon, but I think I just enjoyed it for what it was, which is kind of a cop-out answer, but it's also the truth.
All right, I stepped away. I came back. Comment from the chat. Darth Knight says the Lion Care Bear.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you, Darth Knight.
Called Lionheart.
Ah, got it.
So
First try.
Yeah. All right. Let's get on with the actual show now. How about that?
Whoa!
Wow.
You
Answer the question.
Wow.
I have to do a Google real quick. Hold on.
No Google.
No. Okay, because I could care less about either show.
Then you got to give an answer.
I am giving an answer. I'm just trying to figure out what character this particular person.
Just describe it. Matt didn't know the name of the Luck Care Bear.
Okay,
So
okay. I was right. It's Twilight Sparkle.
I don't care about
Yeah,
either
you know
one of these
what?
shows, but I've got a very specific pony that I want to share with you all.
Okay, first of all, I have a daughter who was big into Care Bears. Not Care Bears, My Little Pony. But I'm a fair Twilight Sparkle because Twilight Sparkle is voiced by Tara Strong, who also does the voice of
Harley Quinn.
There you go. So that's my answer. Dark Dice says we need a Care Bear and My Little Pony fighting game.
Be like Primal Rage. Y'all remember Primal Rage with the dinosaurs and the apes and stuff?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah, there's an arcade. One of my our local barcade has got one of those arcade cabinets, Primal Rage, and it gets bloody real fast.
I would love to get a Primal Rage cabinet.
Take out all your frustrations on the dinosaurs.
Well, because Diablo was my main, and I just loved torching every other enemy with him.
You gotta, like Beavis, I think you got a little problem with fire there, Matt.
You mispronounced infatuation.
Also known as a problem.
Listen,
Fire.
it's not a problem if I don't hurt other people. And if I hurt other people, frankly, they deserved it.
They ought to know that you have a love of fire and, an infatuation, and to stay the hell away.
See, now you're getting it.
All right, can we get on with the actual show?
So hold on, real quick before we move on. That reminds me, the Sweet Tooth's story, Twisted Metal Black, is that he was cursed by a preacher because of all the shitty things he had done. Well, terrible things by murdering people. And at the end of the game, he wins the tournament when you play as him, and he has a choice. He's got like the fire on his head, and it's more painful every day. And it keeps building and building. And so by winning, Calypso gives him a vial where if he can drink it, it's the blood of the guy who cursed him. He can drink it and make the fire go away. But if he ever starts killing again, the fire comes back. So he's like, it took me all of 10 seconds. And then he smashes the vial, kills Calypso, and drives off because he just wants to keep murdering people. Not even fire is strong enough to deter that man.
All right, we're moving on. Our topics are...
Wow. Okay. I see. No, I didn't play anything this week.
Wow,
Tricky.
yeah. You didn't play anything this week. Tricky didn't play anything this week. Okay.
Well, I did say what I was playing, but I thought I went to Matt already.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't really cover what you've been playing.
I said I was playing Final Fantasy and Division.
My Sunday nights, and this is how I get treated.
Yeah.
Damn.
Hold on a second.
Matt, welcome to being a host of Trophy Horse.
Oh my God.
Because he will skip over you whenever it's just three of us. He would either skip over me or Alex.
I know, Rick. It is rude.
Kind of like how he wished Jeff Hanna a happy birthday the day after his birthday.
Yeah, kind of like that.
Well, to be fair, neither one of you guys knew when his birthday was, so at least I knew when his birthday was.
To be fair, neither one of us follow him personally on Facebook. So
what's worse, the fact that I gave him a birthday wish a day late, or the fact that after all these years you're still not friends with Jeff Hanna on Facebook?
Dude, I don't know why you don't know this by now. I am very particular of who I follow in my circle on Facebook. Okay.
And, well, here my answer is very simple. I don't assume somebody wants to be friends with me, so I just don't. I don't add people. You know, I don't know if Jeff wants to be Facebook friends with me, so I've never. It's nothing against Jeff. I just don't assume somebody wants to be Facebook friends with me, so I don't add people, unless it's specifically asked or somebody asked me.
Wow.
And you would think that if you posted to him personally, "Hey, happy birthday," then you would then forward it to the group. "Hey, everybody, it's Jeff's birthday."
I did put it. I did.
A day later.
I'm sorry that I was busy on that particular day that
I'm just
messed
saying,
up.
Jeff called you out on it.
How many seconds does it take to post in the group?
Oh my
I jumped
God.
in, wished happy birthday right away. Awesome, Jeff's birthday. And then Jeff posted, "Yeah, you're a day late." Ow!
Okay. I see how it is.
What?
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 What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What? What?
All right, listeners are going to get sick of hearing that. Let's move forward.
Don't listen to Loop Bros this week. All right. Matt, what have you been playing, sir?
I've been doing some Marvel Snap on my phone. Been playing a whole bunch of Tears of the Kingdom. Just looked at my clock on that. I'm over 100+ hours. And then I've also been going back and playing Armored Core 3 in anticipation of 6 coming out in a couple of weeks because I am highly anticipating that game and I can hardly wait till it comes out.
Are you done, sir?
Yes, I am. Thank you. I appreciate the turn at the cake.
Rick says, yeah, apparently I don't meet the yield criteria. Wow, you're not even friends with Rick.
Okay, so there are some people that I tried to get through initially.
Rick, I'm not friends with Alex or Yield either, so don't worry.
So
he says it's all good, Yield.
Hey man, I'm self-conscious about being friends with people. I don't think people want to be friends with me.
Wait, here's the real question. Alex and Yield, are you guys friends on Facebook?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a lot of people in the community who have sent me friend requests. It's not that I don't want to be your friends. I'm very particular how I want my social media, meaning that my personal life's my personal life. If I put something out there that I want everybody to see, like if I post it in the Trophy Horse group, I want everybody to see it. If I post it on my personal feed, I didn't want everybody to see it, but the people who I'm friends with. And I kind of feel the same way as that. Your personal life's your personal life. I don't necessarily want to see everything that you're doing with all your family and friends. And it sounds dickish, but that's just kind of how I am. So that's how I keep my social media feeds separate. Because I have a tendency sometimes to type before I think. So
there's nothing wrong with that.
There's a lot wrong with that. And
I love how Yale's just like, yeah, I'm a dick.
Well, I am. And so it's why I do that. So it's nothing personal. It's not that I hate you. I just keep my stuff separated.
And I've never rejected anyone who sent me a friend request from the community. I've never rejected anybody. I've always accepted them. I just am not in the habit of, it's not like an ego thing. I just don't assume, like I said, people want to be interlocked in my life. And, so I just generally leave people alone.
All right. But Yield, I do have a request for you, though.
Oh, well, it doesn't mean I'm going to fill it, but I will take it.
When we, Rick says Yield hasn't rejected him either. It just leaves him in purgatory.
Yeah, he's sitting in friend request purgatory. Everybody is. I'm not a dick. I won't decline you. You'll just sit in friend request purgatory. And if I get into a mood one day, then I might be like, you know what? Here, you can come into the circle.
Rick says you just left him on red. All right, but Yield, when we do episode 600, and because that's the day that's the only show that I can convince you to turn your camera on.
Nobody wants to see me.
You were gonna have to put your brand new sign behind you.
I probably will do that. It's bitching, isn't it?
So I laugh at the fact that Yield just went on this whole big thing about how I keep everything separate. Then he posts a full body pic of him holding the sign that his wife bought him at the garage sale.
Because I think that was cool and the community should see it. Hence why I said, if I want people to see it, I'll post it in the group. I wanted people to see that. I thought it was slick.
That's a huge ass sign. How the hell did your wife come across that?
She was garage selling.
Well, I know that.
I've told her for a while now. She came across a Yield sign. I wanted one. I also told her a railroad sign. And she's come across them before, but the people wanted like $90 for them. And she's like, no, I'm not dropping $90 on it. Well, she found this one at a yard sale. And it's a little beat up, but for $25. I'm like, sure. And she sent me a picture. Does this look good? Do you want it? I said, yeah, well, I'll take it. Had no idea because it was leaning against a tree.
How big it was?
How big it was. She's like, I barely got it in the car. I'm like, she's telling me this on the phone, and I'm like, oh, okay. I'm not thinking nothing of it. So she's like, she comes home, I go out to get it, and I'm like, dear God, woman. She's like, I told you the sign was big. I'm like, yeah, but I didn't think it was. I've never seen a Yield sign that big. So that's pretty cool. I like it.
Rick wants to know, are you going to put a no above the yield?
I need to do something. I don't want to mess it up, but if I did anything, it would be one of those like circles with a line through it.
I think you should go get like professional lettering and just put I and then 2 no 1 next to it.
You know, I've never thought of the dangerous implications of Yield's name and out there driving where he's not yielding to anybody and just car wrecks happen.
That's like the old joke. Guy's driving down the street with his buddy in the car. He comes up to a red light and he shoots right through it. And the passenger goes, "What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. My brother does it all the time." They come up to another red light. Guy blows right through it. The passenger goes, "What the hell are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, don't worry about it. My brother does it all the time." They're go down, and there's a green light, and the guy slams on his brakes. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing?" He goes, "My brother could be coming the other way."
Pop quiz, comedian who told that joke?
I have no idea.
George Carlin.
You just took somebody's joke and didn't give proper credit?
Oh, it was a friend of mine who told me the joke. I didn't know Carlin told that joke.
Yeah, so your friend stole it from Carlin, you stole it from your friend. Get it. Joke theft happens all the time in the comedy world.
Well, you calling me Carlos Mencia now? Saying that plagiarizing jokes?
I'm not directly calling you, but if it quacks like a duck.
All right, so our
It's
first
probably a duck.
first topic we have, PlayStation 5 beta is finally adding support for Dolby Atmos HDMI devices, and among other things, this is coming from IGN and written by Wesley Yinpool. Sony's rolling out a new PlayStation 5 beta. I'm in it. If you want a code, I can get you a code. I think I have 2 more activations left on it. They adds a couple new features, including Dolby Atmos and HDMI device support. The new update, released today in beta form, adds audio options, allow 3D audio powered by Tempest 3D audio tech to be used with compatible Dolby Atmos enabled HDMI devices such as soundbars, TVs, and home theater systems. As detailed on the PlayStation blog, it tells you how to do it. The beta also includes more options to quickly find games and console tips, new ways to connect with other players and customize your multiplayer sessions, and support for larger capacity M.2 SSDs up to 8 terabytes.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I thought you were done.
Nope. New accessibility features mean you can now assign a second controller to one account as an assist controller and use 2 controllers to operate a PS5 as if you were using a single controller. This means you can now play games with others or help a friend. I hate when ads pop up. Help a friend or child play a difficult section of a game. Meanwhile, there's now an option to turn on haptic feedback effects while using your PlayStation 5 with your DualSense controller, the DualSense Edge, or PSVR 2 Sense controller. This means system sound effects for certain events, such as checking a box or when you get a notification or boot up a game, are reflected physically through haptics. There's other things for social features. And then there's also an option in the beta to turn off the sound of when you turn your PlayStation 5 on. So when you guys turn your PlayStation 5 on,
oh, that's from Marky Frazier.
You know the beep that you can now turn that off or reduce the sound of it. I thought that was really weird because that's never really bothered me, but apparently that's an issue with other people.
I mean, if you're like sharing, like if you're playing PlayStation in the bedroom in the evening and you're sleeping together, lying down or sleeping or napping, that beep gets kind of loud. Like it's honestly sometimes when it's late at night, it makes me self-conscious to turn it on. It's like, oh shit,
that beep is not that loud.
It's loud enough for other people to hear.
I'm sure in a quiet room, I'm sure it's pretty loud.
All right, Yield, you were going to say something.
So, dumb it down for those of us that aren't techs.
Okay,
like me.
What do you want me to dumb down?
The whole Dolby Atmos HDMI support.
It only matters if you have a sound bar or a surround sound system in your living room attached to your TV. That's what you listen to. If you don't have any high tech devices with it, then
I actually do have a surround sound and a sound bar.
Okay, so does your sound bar have Dolby on it?
Doesn't most everything have Dolby?
Not sure that all do.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm thinking mine does because it is a name brand.
It just basically means that because
You can have the 3D audio with your surround sound now.
correct, and also
okay.
your audio format. I think there's 4 options. There's linear PCM, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Audio, and what's the 4th one? DTS. And most people would just use the linear if they're not using it, but now you can actually use Dolby Atmos on it now. So
Cleared it up a little bit, but
it just
so it basically means that I could possibly use it.
Yeah, if your sound bar or your surround sound system has utilizes Dolby Atmos, it just means now you can set your PlayStation 5 to utilize that part. That's all it really means.
Gotcha.
The other big thing about this is the M.2 storage. Now up to 8 terabytes you can put in. So if you need more storage space. The problem is, and Matt, maybe you can Google this real quick for me. The 8 terabytes M.2 SSDs, they're not cheap. I think they're like $1,000.
You're definitely spending more on an 8 terabyte M.2 than you would on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you had the money and you wanted the storage space, they're now compatible up to 8 terabytes. But, you're paying a hefty price if you're going to update that much. So,
$999.99.
Yep. There you go.
Sounds like they're advertising the Dreamcast. $99.99.
Is that how much the Dreamcast was?
No, it's just the release date, I believe.
Oh,
They
okay.
announced the release date like a week or so, some really small amount before the console launched. And I think it was September 9th of 1999.
And also in the beta, you now have the ability to search for games in your library. So, like I said, I have a code that I think I can give out to 2 people. So if you want the code, then you can just let me know. I think it's only okay. So yeah, it's only compatible in the U.S., Canada, Japan, UK, Germany, and France. So if you want it and you live in one of those countries, let me know and I will get it to you. All right. Any questions other than what Yield had for the beta? No. Moving on. Callisto Protocol publisher has confirmed 32 striking distance studio layoffs due to, quote, realigned priorities. This is coming from IGN and written by Taylor Lyles. Striking Distance Studios, the studio behind the Callisto Protocol, has laid off 32 employees in what it's called a move to, quote, realign the studio's priorities to better position its current and future projects for success. First spotted by X-User. Are we really going to do this now? It's Twitter. And
Calm down, Carlos Mencia.
I hate you. More than 30 employees were impacted by the recent layoffs. In a statement sent to IGN, a spokesperson for Krafton confirmed the studio had layoffs and that 32 players were impacted. Quote, Striking Distance Studios and Krafton have implemented strategic changes to realign the studio's priorities to better position its current and future projects for success. Unfortunately, these changes have impacted 32 employees. Honoring the invaluable contributions for each department team member with a material support in the form of outplacement services and meaningful severance packages is our top priority during this difficult moment. So there you go. Callisto Protocol Studio has laid off 32 employees. Now,
EA ought to just hire a lot of those people to work on the next Dead Space remake.
Okay, so it always sucks when people get laid off, but I think it's important to point out that this type of stuff always happens in game studios. Like, they start working on a new game, they transition to nothing or another game, or even in a development, this particular employee doesn't really have any more work to do. They lay them off. This happens all the time. It sucks, but it happens all the time.
That is true, but I also don't think that the Callisto Protocol was particularly successful sales-wise. And you're talking to someone who, the comparisons to Dead Space were just all over the place. And with Dead Space coming out in February and this game launching in December or late in the year, I'm sorry, if I'm waiting for Dead Space, I'm not going to pick up the Callisto Protocol. I just am not. So I think also part of the problem is that game just didn't do as well as maybe they wanted it to.
Rick, I know you're in the chat. Rick, I think you played Callisto Protocol. Was it good? Was it bad? I
Well,
remember.
I'm not. My comments aren't like on the
No,
quality of it, because I think it came across as like critically, well received. I just don't think as many people bought it as they wanted to.
It was a weird thing because it wasn't critically panned, but it also wasn't. The critics didn't think it did anything super special or new, and the sales just weren't there. It stinks because it wasn't a bad game. I'm still personally waiting for a decent sale to jump in on it, because I've seen it for 50% off in the Steam sales, and even then, after everything I've seen on it, wasn't enough for me to jump in on it. It stinks because we need more space horror games, and this one didn't seem like it was particularly bad. I'm waiting for a decent sale on it, because after everything I've seen people play it and read on it, it just wasn't enough for me to jump in at full price. And unfortunately, there's been devs in the past that say, if you want to support a studio and what they're doing, buy the game at full price. Well, I wish I made their kind of money that I could buy every game I wanted to support at full price, but I had to pick and choose. And Alex, you said it right. Dead Space was coming out a month later, and that's what I saved my money for.
All right, so Rick says he's busy with Tomb Raider right now. He'll comment later. But Kayla says he's currently trying to finish Callisto Protocol, and it's hard, like way harder than it needs to be, but it's fun. So, Yield, do you have any comments about the layoffs?
No.
10-4. All right, maybe you have something to say about this. Dead by Daylight is getting an Alien collaboration. This is coming from Destructoid, because Matt keeps sending me Destructoid links, and I have to use them.
Alex keeps sending you Destructoid links.
Matt sent me some too as well.
But I sent you this one.
Okay, that's not. You know what? I hate you. That's not what I said.
Let's just agree that Tricky is finally learning to go to more than IGN for articles.
Well, let's also learn that Tricky was streaming while you guys were saying these links. That my phone kept going off. I'm going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, and you kept complaining, which, I thought you wanted a team that contributed and gave things
I do.
to the podcast.
I do. All right.
It's convenient for him. Just remember that.
Oh, okay.
I hate
Noted.
all of you. I hate all of you.
I'll start sending stuff at like 2 a.m. when I'm up for no particular reason.
There you go, because that's in his time frame.
That is when I'm awake. Dead by Daylight is one of those games that wears its horror influences on its sleeve. We've seen Behavior Interactive's asymmetrical survivor crossover with franchises like Resident Evil and Silent Hill. We've also been treated to Nicolas Cage, so anything's possible with this game. Now it's the Alien franchise getting its turn, get the Dead by Daylight collaboration treatment. In a recent teaser over on the official YouTube channel, shows the Xenomorph will be coming to Dead by Daylight. No date on when this will actually happen, but the short clip says we can learn more on August 8th, which is 2 days from now, 1 day after, if you're listening to this podcast, it was yesterday. Any Dead by Daylight fans here?
Not particularly.
No, I mean, I think it's cool that they're incorporating the Xenomorph into it, and I am glad that game has been successful, because it did launch alongside like Sifu and Horizon Forbidden West and Elden Ring. Like, all those games were part of that February last year. So I'm glad to see they're still supporting it, that the community is still alive and well. And again, I think the Xenomorph is like such a cool integration into a game like this, because Xenomorph is terrifying. I mean, yeah, you can throw Freddy Krueger in. Yeah, you can throw Jason. The Xenomorph will wipe them all out. Fucking just nuke them all. So, as a fan of the Aliens franchise, I always like to see where and when they put the Xenomorph into video games.
Yield?
I think it's cool, but I mean, I don't play Dead by Daylight, so I don't know how it'll work in it. But
all right, Matt.
I like this kind of. I like how they integrate, different things into games, as long as it fits. They're not stretching.
Yeah, a horror game that you put actual horror icons into just makes sense, and it feels good.
But at some point, is it too much? I mean, I know they added Ghostface. I know they added like Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, stuff like that. I get that, but I mean, to put a xenomorph in, I mean,
no, because in my opinion, no, because you're constantly adding new things to the game. It doesn't break the game. It's a cosmetic that you can pay or not pay for it. So I'm okay with stuff like that.
So first of all, you're drawing the line at the xenomorph, an actual horror icon, and you're cool with Nick Cage. Like, I'm not saying that Nick Cage shouldn't be in there, that people, because I know some people were happy about Nick Cage, but
the difference,
Nick Cage belongs in there less than the xenomorph does.
Right, but Nick Cage is not you're not killing people as Nick Cage. He's one of the survivors.
Okay, but wouldn't you want to be able to kill people as a xenomorph? Wouldn't that be ultra cool?
I mean, I guess.
So.
I would guess.
I don't know, to me, Nick Cage, adding Nick Cage is kind of like the jump the shark moment, where it's like, oh, okay, you're adding this in, whereas the xenomorph fits more nicely in there. I don't know.
I mean, I think you should put more celebrities in as survivors. I think that would be better.
No.
I'd rather have more on the horror side, like throw in the Jeepers Creepers monster and all that. I don't know. There's a lot more that you could do.
They got the girl from The Ring in there as well.
Hell, you can even throw in Pumpkinhead from the Pumpkinhead series if you want to go really deep cut.
What about Candyman?
And he's already
Tony Todd. You know what?
He's already in the game.
Throw in a Tyrannosaurus Rex from Jurassic Park. Let's just go full steam ahead.
Moving on, full steam ahead. Apparently,
as long as you don't have to pick anything up.
With his tiny little hands.
He's got tiny little hands.
Hideo Kojima has teased that Death Stranding 2 will change the meaning of Strand. This is coming from Games Radar and written by...
What the fuck does that mean?
Thank you! I was wondering the same thing!
Written by Hope Bellingham. What do you guys... the meaning of Strand?
Yes!
Hideo Kojima's just fucking with people now. He's just gonna go out there and say some crazy shit, and then people will be like, yeah, well, whatever he says.
What I loved was when the first Death Stranding came out, it was, oh, this is a Strand game. Like, we all were supposed to fucking know what that meant off the top of our heads. I'm sitting in Google like, what the fuck does it mean by Strand game? So now he's sitting there saying, oh, we're gonna change the definition of what a strand means. Motherfucker, you made what a strand defined as to begin with. So, of course, you can go change it. So go do your Hideo Kojima stuff that you're going to do. You're going to have a ton of people play it, whatever. We're going to not get all the abstract stuff you're bringing in. We're just going to play it for whatever it is.
I just let you guys go. That's actually more. Your conversation is actually more interesting than this article.
I was gonna say, we mostly just took all the wind out of Tricky's sail. He's like, oh, they don't.
Well, no. So to be fair, I shared this article because I thought it would be a fun thing to talk about. Because honestly, my first thought is, okay, well,
what is a strand?
Like, what is a strand to begin with? It's like, let's go to the dictionary. Webster's dictionary defines strand as it's just a shrugging picture of Hideo.
The meaning of Strand has changed for Death Stranding 2, and the COVID-19 pandemic is partly responsible, says Kojima. In an interview with J-pop idol Nochi from the group Perfume.
Well, see, right now you've lost all respect for me because you mentioned J-pop.
I don't have respect for me. I'm not a J-pop fan.
I'm not.
Tricky, did you just say don't have respect for me?
I said don't lose respect for me because I'm not the one doing this.
I'm not directing it at you.
I know.
It at the article.
Anyway, Kojima gave a small insight into Death Stranding 2's development. On the topic of the sequel's themes, the head of Kojima Productions says, machine translated. I guess they had a machine translate what he said. Quote, in Death Stranding, connection was justice. However, following the COVID-19 pandemic, remote and other pseudo-connections became more important. On the other hand, I felt that the pseudo-connection alone was not enough to achieve human life fulfillment in life. I felt that human beings need to get out into the outside world and move. Furthermore, he says, isolation and fragmentation are ongoing and the world is changing dramatically. With the inability to return to the world as it is, the meaning of Strand is changing in Death Stranding 2 as we rethink about our connectedness.
Man, it's no wonder that I've never wanted to actually play one of this guy's games.
According to Google, strand is a verb. Leave, quotations, someone, without the means to move from somewhere. Definition 2, drive or leave a ground on a shore. So we are changing that definition.
Go home, Google, you're drunk.
But I guess the main reason for this is Kojima says later in the interview, if it's going to be made into a film, which we know it's going to be, I want it to be something that only film can do. So I'm going to make it completely different. He says that saying that Kojima won't be directing the Death Stranding movie, but he will be playing a supervising role, which we know that the movie is set to introduce new characters and might even ditch the game's lead protagonist, Sam Porter Bridges. So apparently he's changing what Strand means for the movie aspect of it.
So essentially, the movies are influencing the way he makes his games.
So we're breaking continuity.
I guess so. All right, Rick has come back in the chat, talk about Callisto Protocol. He says, so Callisto Protocol is better than what the reviews say, but certainly not over 75. Not over a 75. I think the lower review from the people that just expected Dead Space all over again and couldn't deal with the combat being a bit difficult. The enemies were good, but seriously lacking in variety. The death animations were incredible. Everyone was good as dying to the eye poke machine in Dead Space 2. He really enjoyed it. He paid full price and wish he hadn't, but I loathe paying full price for anything.
Sounds to sum it up pretty well to me.
All right. Moving on because we're done talking about strands. EA is apparently working on a PlayStation 4 and Xbox version of Star Wars Jedi Survivor. This is coming from Destructoid and written by, oh my God, whose name is that? All right, you know what? One of you guys try to pronounce that name because I'm not trying.
Also, we should say that it's Xbox One version, Tricky.
What'd I say?
You said just Xbox, general Xbox. And I want people to get confused and think that it wasn't already on the Xbox systems.
Oh, sorry. Xbox One version. I'm waiting for one of you guys to click try to say that name.
My phone is not near me, so I can't look it up. So just go ahead and
Mangaliso Similane.
There you go, Matt.
I expected a gazoon height from Yield. Yield,
he's not a performing monkey for you, Tricky.
Yield, you let me down on that one, sir.
I'm sorry. I'm scrolling through Facebook. I'm not paying attention at the moment.
Oh, thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Released on April 28th, Star Wars Jedi Survivor has been a success for EA Arts and Electronic.
Boy, I'm glad he's been doing this for 580 plus episodes.
Electronic Arts and Respawn Entertainment earning both critical and commercial acclaim. Though it originally skipped the last-gen consoles, the EA first quarter earnings revealed that Respawn has a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One ports on the way for Survivor. As the released EA report brief reveals, the company is looking to continue capitalizing on its financial well-performing franchises such as Star Wars Jedi. As reported by The Verge, EA CEO Andrew Wilson announced that during the earnings call that the Star Wars Jedi Survivor will come to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, though a release date wasn't mentioned. This is an unexpected turn of events, as in an interview with Play Magazine, as reported by Game Rant, game director Stig has previously stated that Jedi Survivor was skipping last-gen consoles to ensure a, quote, true new-gen experience in the Star Wars universe, end quote. Yeah, there you go.
So is this EA ordering this, and we get maybe ports that aren't the greatest of quality just for the sake of them making more money, whereas the developers have come out and said, yeah, we want a true experience, but now EA is like, can you like shove this into like a hole it doesn't fit in just so we can make more money? Is that what this is?
I fully believe that's what this is. I think EA is looking at the earnings sheet saying that, oh, this game's successful. Oh, we should release it on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One because we can make more money off of it. I 100% think that's what this is. Saber in the chat says, yeah, because they need more money. Red Beard Rick says, if you want to play it, buy a PlayStation 5 or a Series or a PC. Rick says he'd rather them do it this way than develop for both consoles.
So that's where I want to jump in.
Okay.
Because that's exactly the thing I was thinking of. I'm happy that they made the game with the focus being on the current generation. That means their resources, the technical skill, everything was developed for current gen. Now that the game is out, there's really no more patching or launch day issues that they have to do. Now they can leverage that team that already worked on the game one time. And now what they're going to do is develop it for last gen, so that way anybody who can't afford to upgrade or had severe difficulty getting their hands on the consoles, and I know the consoles are pretty much available as needed now, but there still may be people who couldn't afford the new consoles, but they still want to get a chance to play the game. Now the team isn't sacrificing anything for the new generation by gimping it out and making it, broken for the last gen at launch, like CD Projekt Red did with Cyberpunk. So now that team is dedicated solely to downgrading the current game and making it playable on the last gen without focusing on making sure it works across multiple different generations. So I'm actually okay with that. And yes, we know it's the nefarious EA wants more money, but at least that's giving the team something to do. Now, I haven't played it, so don't spoil it for me, but whether or not they intend on making a Jedi Fallen Order Survivor threequel, is that going to take away the team from working on that? I don't know, because we don't know if they're actually working on something like that. But I am okay with them doing it this way versus focusing on multiple generations at the same time, resulting in a gimped game for the current generation.
See, I agree with you 100%, because that was my point. Is what I was going to say is, I'd rather them develop for one console generation at a time, because I've said it on the show many times, and I think Alex and you'll tend to agree with me on this. When you start making a game that's coming out for last gen and current gen at the same time, I always feel like the current gen is just getting an upscaled version of last gen's game, because that's what they're developing for. And then they're saying, okay, now that we have the base game, we could just change the resolution and whatnot for the current gen. And it feels like we lose out on things on the current gen games. So as a current gen owner, and I know this is going to make me sound entitled, but that's not the way I'm trying to, I didn't buy a PlayStation 5 to play PlayStation 4 games. I bought it to play PlayStation 5 games, and any game that comes out for the 5, I expect it to be of 5 quality, not 4 quality upscaled. Yield, the floor is yours.
So, I'm okay with this as long as they're going back, like Matt was saying, and they're making it specifically for the 4. When they came out and said that that this game, they were just doing it for the 5, they weren't doing it for the past gens, while disappointing, I'm okay with it because, like you've stated and Matt stated, if you're going to make it, like you stated, you're making a game for both at the same time, it suffers because you're going to focus more of the fact that it works on the lesser console than it does on the current console. So I'm okay with this. And I agree with what you were saying, Tricky, with the fact that, I have a 5 and I don't play my 4 games on my 5 necessarily because my 4 still works perfectly. So yeah, for what you were saying, when I play a 5 game, I want I want the best bang for my buck. So I want it developed for the 5, not toned down so it works on the 5 and the 4. They probably just talked in a circle.
You're fine. Alex, your thoughts?
I agree with Matt. I think that's a good sentiment. Look at it positively. The more people can play it, I mean, that is good. You just hope that I am waiting to see how good it actually performs on the 4 and the 1, and hopefully it's not just like a shitty mess because they try to downgrade a game they made for the the upper consoles. So, but I mean, Mass Simmons is good. You know, focus if you're going to develop it for a bunch of consoles, make sure that you focus on the current gen, and then for anyone who wants to play it on the previous gen, focus on that second, and make it kind of two separate development cycles, or at least give them like a little bit of wall of separation there, so you're not trying to go at all of them at the same time.
All right. I think that's it. Now we're just going to throw it across to Sid for this week's Sophie's Trophy.
Hello again, guys. It's Sid with another Sophie's Trophies. This week, guys, we're going to do one of 4 games I've played recently. One of 4 games I've platinumed recently. Simple-ish platinums. They are on PS Plus. And the 4 games are Paw Patrol, and Peppa Pig, and DC's Pets. I can't remember the actual name of that one. And this one, which is My Little Pony, a Maritime Bay adventure. Now, before everybody creases up laughing, I just want to let you know I am not a brony. But I did play the game, and I will play it again on the PS4. I did all of them on the PS5, but they're free, and they are actually pretty playable games, apart from the Peppa Pig one. That's not great, but I will get round to that one eventually. So this one, guys, it has 14 trophies. It probably take you about an hour and a half. You do pretty much have to play the whole game, so there is that. You don't have to collect everything, but you have to collect most things. So the game itself, it's a standard platformer. Think Ratchet and that kind of game, but obviously much more simplified. Graphically, it looks nice. Most of these games are made by the same company. The Paw Patrol, the DC one, and this one are made by the same company, and they all have pretty good value in them. So they're not bad games by any means. So we'll get into the trophies, guys. The first one is Alicorn Status, and that's get every trophy. Then we have An Adorable Thief, reclaim your backpack. We have Unicycling 101, fix the bridge using Izzy's unicycling powers. So basically that is just you talk to a character, ask her to fix the bridge, she'll ask you to find some things, and you go find those things. As always, guys, it's the rule of 3. So you go and find the 3 things, and you get her to fix a bridge. Main Street Awaits, help Hitch in Bright House. Pip Pip Parade, help Pip in Main Street. Then we have Amateur Detective, get 500 magic bits. So the magic bits are what you use to, I'd say, pay for things, but I don't think you really buy anything, but you have to find some bits anyway. Glowing Up, use the magic mirror for the first time. So this is you getting dressed, or dressed up, shall we say, changing your costume. Then we have WINGS Cadet, complete the secret obstacle course in Town Park. Now I missed this trophy, guys, because there's a guy you can go past. You can talk to him the first time, but unless you have your roller skates, you can't do his course. Sheriff's Apprentice, get 1000 magic bits. Pro Herder, help Hitch in Town Park. Now Hitch, he wants you to herd rabbits, and then he wants you to herd rabbits and frogs. The Negotiator, fulfill Marcel's requests and unlock Beach Cove. Where did the magic go? Race Zip on Beach Cove. Friendship is still magic. Catch and talk some sense into Sprout. That's pretty much one of your main missions, that one. And then Star Scout, get 1500 magic bits. So that is your trophies for My Little Pony, a maritime adventure. Jesus Christ, guys. A maritime bay adventure. There we go. English is always a good language if you can learn it. So, yeah, it is worth playing. You know, if you want to get some trophies and you don't want to feel like you're spamming it, any of these 4 games are worth it. Again, maybe not the Peppa Pig, but it is 45 to 50 minutes, that one. I will do that one at some point. But as a freebie, you really can't go wrong with this, guys. It's simple, it's quick, nothing to worry about, and if you want a nice breezy run through a game, this is the one for you. And maybe some of the others, but we'll talk about those soon. But that's going to be it from me, guys. I would say give it a shot. Yeah, go on, give it a shot, and it's alright. Could be worse. So I'll talk to you again soon, guys. Bye.
Tricky, how many of those games have you platinumed?
2. No, 1. 1.
And these are obviously all from your account, since
No.
there's access to your account.
No, these are all on PlayStation Plus.
Oh.
But some comments from the chat, because Rick he's having a good time. He says, "Ooh, Tricky, you can get some tips." I said, "I know, I'm excited." He says, "You can go back to it tomorrow." Man, I see why you quit. An hour and a half platinum. Who has the time? And he says, "You quit for the meme, didn't you?" Darth Eye says, "Yeah, sounds like a Souls type game." Rick says, "Sounds brutal. Herding rabbits. Goodness me. You might get killed."
Hey, there are killer rabbits out there. Gotta keep an eye out
Large,
for.
pointy teeth.
But anyway, everybody give love to Sid. I talked to Sid, and he says that the reason he doesn't send in more of these is because he honestly just forgets to record them, and then by the time he remembers, it's too late. So, Dark Knight says it might be the rabbits from Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I've never seen that movie.
Of course you haven't, Tricky. Of course you haven't. You didn't get Matt's reference. That's what Matt was referencing earlier with the pointy teeth.
I know what he was referencing. I'm just saying I never watched the movie.
Why the fuck am I even here anymore?
I just
Rick says, "Tricky, get out."
He doesn't even know what the holy hand grenade of Antioch is.
Have no clue.
1, 2, 5.
No, 3, sir.
You know, I was actually really disappointed in Ready Player One when he used the Holy Hand Grenade of Antioch. He didn't have to count to 5.
And Rick says, "Tricky, get out." And he says, "The Beast of Bayong."
Carabanog.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. All right, so, give Sid some love. And if you guys want more Sophie's Trophies, to remind him Sunday mornings to record this. Dark Knight says, "Stop recording and go watch it." Sir, I'm leaving this and I'm going to watch the Mario Brothers movie after this. So,
What movie?
the Mario Brothers movie, the Super Mario Brothers. It's on Peacock now.
I hope you find it.
I feel like that's a reference, or
No, I think he was just aghast at how you pronounce Mario.
Mario.
Oh yeah, that's on Peacock. You should be able to find that one.
I pronounce it the correct way, sir. All right, so I'm lost now. Oh, listen to questions.
Time to check my social media, yeah.
Wow, that was a little louder than I expected it to be. So we have some listener questions. Boys, I put a picture in the chat, which is going to reference one of the questions. So if you guys want to look at that picture when you get a chance, that will make the question more understanding. All right, so our first question, Curtis says, if you watch SummerSlam, what are your thoughts? Yield, I'll give the floor to you first.
I thought it was rather disappointing for a big pay-per-view event. I mean, I was sitting there watching it with my buddy, and he follows wrestling more week to week than I do. And I looked at him and asked him, is it me or is this kind of eh? And he was like, no, it's rather eh. I thought that it really didn't get good till the end of the night. The Rollins-Finn match was a good match. It was a good story match. The women's triple threat match was just a cluster F, which was sad because all 3 of them women can go, but it was just horrible. And then there was a horrible ending. and then they saved it with the whole cash in. And the match of the night was the last match.
Yeah, I'm a little pissed off at the end of that one.
You know, I am, but
they didn't have to do that because it makes absolutely no fucking sense to what they did.
No, well, it didn't necessarily make sense of how it ended, but they had to do something because, like, my buddy and I was talking as the match was getting to go. You knew Jay wasn't going to win. And the story can't end quite yet. It feels too soon to end it. So something's got to happen to where it's not necessarily a clean loss for Jay.
No, but
because if it does, then where do you go from here?
No, you don't make Jay lose clean. But there are other things. I mean, they're talking about bringing other members into the bloodline. They're talking about doing different things. All right, so anybody that hasn't watched SummerSlam, just turn this off for the next 5 minutes because me and Yield are going to go into this for a second. Everybody knows how big of a Uso fan I am. I think they are the best tag team in wrestling. I know other people disagree, but I think the Usos are the best tag team going right now. There is absolutely no flippant reason to break up the Usos at all. To have Jimmy turn on Jay the way he did, you not only did a cheap finish to keep the bloodline story going, you've broken up one of the best tag teams, one of the biggest money makers you got going. For what reason?
Well, we'll have to see how the story goes. Maybe they're not going to break up.
But let's talk about the timeline for a second here, okay?
Oh, no, hold on, Tricky. We're not going 5 minutes on this one.
No. I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna make this real quick. You got Jimmy who kicks Roman because he's tired of going. You got the whole storyline about how Jay needs to go. You have Jay leave because of Jimmy, and then you have Jimmy go back to the bloodline. It makes no sense.
No, I agree with you, but at the same token, we'll just see where the story goes.
So I didn't watch any of SummerSlam because I kind of figured we came home after we went to eat some sushi and then did some like general errands and then came home and watched an episode of What We Do in the Shadows and then 2 episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I didn't watch any SummerSlam because I looked at the card and I'm like, I know every match result before it happens.
I bet you don't.
And I did.
You knew every
what?
You did. You got every match right,
except for maybe the women's championship match. But yeah, every other match you could pick the winner and you'd be fine. I didn't expect the cash in at the end of the women's match, so that was a little bit of a surprise. And I knew that Roman was going to win, but I didn't expect them to do the thing they did because, I agree with Tricky, it doesn't make any sense. And it's just like the jump the shark moment where they're just extending this. They're just doing it to extend the storyline because it's bringing in viewers. There's lots of eyes that want to see the bloodline story. Lots of people are tuning in for it, but this was a very ridiculous turn in the story because now Solo and Roman injured Jimmy and sent him to the hospital, and now Jimmy comes back and attacks his brother for standing up for him. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. So
what I heard was that Jimmy wasn't actually injured. Is that all right? So what I'm hearing through internet rumors is that Jimmy never really left the bloodline. They wanted to test Jay's loyalty, so they fake injured Jimmy to get him to leave the bloodline to see if Jay would turn on his brother.
No, here's the thing. That is an explanation you come up with afterwards. It's not baked into the original story.
Well,
there's no way.
Listen, I'm just telling you because Jimmy didn't look injured last night.
Was been off of TV for like 3-4 weeks. Right,
but the last time he was out for almost a year. And he wasn't limping, and he was able to do that super kick with no issues. So, I'm not saying it's right or wrong or indifferent, but what I'm hearing is that Jimmy never actually left the bloodline. They were just testing Jay's loyalty, and then Jay failed.
Well, that's ridiculous. So, I mean, overall, I didn't watch it. I thought it was a very predictable show. Yield said he was disappointed with it. Tricky, what are your overall thoughts of SummerSlam?
I enjoyed it. I think it was a good show. On the Loop Brothers that I referenced a couple times, we did a SummerSlam match spoiler. I think I only got one match wrong. Two. Well, I technically got 2 matches wrong, but I don't count the Battle Royale as being wrong because we didn't know all the participants, and I went on a crazy thing saying that I think Bobby Lashley was going to win with the help of the new Hurt Business. But Bobby Lashley wasn't even in the match. So overall, I think a good show. I'm kind of upset they took the belt off of Asuka. Asuka deserves that belt. I mean,
well, her run was a nothing run because they spent more time focused on Charlotte and Bianca than they ever did as Asuka as champions. So that was a nothing.
Well, as we said, not as we said, but as Patrick said on the Loop Brothers, the problem with the women being on the main roster is the fact that once the women get up there, it's pretty much like they've made it and they stop working to be the best people they are. I mean,
tell that to Rhea Ripley, who wasn't even on the show, which is dumb as hell, by the way.
Well, that's the point, is that Rhea's up there. She's the champion. She's dominant, but she didn't even have a match. And the only thing she did on the entire thing was the run-in, but she didn't even get physical with anybody. She's just basically there to comfort Dom after Dom got wrecked. So listen, I think the women deserve the spot on the card and whatnot. You have one of the big 4 pay-per-views of the year, and you don't have the tag titles being defended. Now, I know Kevin Owens is hurt, but you don't have both women's belts being defended. Like, this is the show you should go all out for outside of WrestleMania and SummerSlam and the Royal Rumble. And I felt left down by that. The women's match, like the Asuka match, I don't think Asuka should have lost that title because I think Asuka is the best female wrestler on the card. And I'm not taking away from Io because Io is fantastic as well. So
that's the only thing that saved that match.
Well, it's stupid the way they had Belair get hurt.
My knee. Oh, I got to go to the back.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to come back out and keep wrestling. Oh, I'm going to get the win.
Well, okay. See, this is what I heard, and again, no way. I heard Belair was actually injured, and they were pulling her out of the match. But storyline wise, they needed Io to cash in on Belair. So as they were limping Belair to the back, somebody said to her, "You have to go in and win, so Io can cash in on you." So the original plan was that Belair was going to win the match, and then Io was going to cash in, and then Belair legit got injured, and she went back in just to get the finish, because after that, she got the finish pretty quickly.
All right. This is not the SummerSlam podcast. Let's move on to the next question.
It was a question from the audience, sir.
I understand, but as the editor this week, I'm telling you to move on.
Yes, sir. All right, so Matt's smiling because Matt's like, I don't give a shit about wrestling. All right, so the picture that I put in the Skype chat for you guys, Rick wants to know, what lengths have you gone to earn a trophy? Like that thing, if you told a non-trophy hunter, they would ask, what the fuck is wrong with you? Here's a pic of his evening tonight. Now, for the listeners and for the viewers, I guess, on Twitch, he has a setup with 3 different TVs, 3 different consoles, because he needed a 4-player thing, and he didn't have another console. So, if you guys are looking at that picture, what lengths have you gone to earn a trophy?
I mean, mine's simple, just plugging in extra controllers, like I think up to 3 controllers. But yeah, using multiple local controllers to just try to get a trophy that's a multiplayer trophy. It's about as far as I've gone. I've never hooked up, multiple TVs and multiple consoles. I multiple consoles. I don't have that luxury. So, but yeah, controllers, extra controllers. That's a bit for me.
Yield.
Yeah, that's the same. I've just hooked up multiple controllers and did it solo.
All right.
Now I have specifically gone and bought third-party PlayStation 3 controllers, long after the PS3's life cycle to help me go back and get PS3 trophies, but
I've done basically what Rick's doing, but I've done it on a level where during the trophy war in 2016, I had 6 consoles going at the same time, all playing Telltale games that basically it just had it going, and then after the story, and then I'd wait to make a choice, and if I died, then I just reloaded that section, did what I had to do to get it going again, and walked away. So I played 6 Telltale games at the same time on different 6 different consoles.
And of course, Matt is the person we could be explaining this nonsense to, and he'd be shaking his head at us.
I think he's shaking his head right now. Matt,
so here's the thing.
Here's where we get judged.
No, there actually no judgment, except in this fact. So
except in this fact.
When Team Fortress 2 started doing class updates, achievements, which, you console people would akin to trophies, the achievement system actually gave you something. So as you earned achievements, you earned the weapons that they introduced in the update. So since I sucked at Medic, there were certain achievements such as do so much damage or kill somebody with your Uber Saw multiple times in a single match. And there were servers specifically made to go on that the understanding was everybody was playing Medic to grind out the achievements that we didn't want to in a normal match. So I will admit to going on to a specialized server to get these achievements completed.
Basically, going on PSN profiles and entering like a boosting thread to have people help you get trophies.
Exactly.
All right. But Matt, this is just a question for you, I guess, because he knew you were on a trophy hunter. Rick wants to know, what is the strangest contraption you've created in Tears of the Kingdom?
So, Rick, you could actually go on and see this, and this is where I get to plug channel3.gg, because the site's creator made a Creations of the Kingdom challenge. And what I did was I made a cart with spinning wheels and flamethrowers and cannons to nuke a Bokoblin camp. And it was kind of entertaining.
All right.
There's that fire again.
David Bray's question. He wants to know your top 5 Weird Al songs. He says The Night Santa Went Crazy, Amish Paradise, Fat, White and Nerdy, and eBay. And then Rick says, not in this order, but Jackson Park Express, Albuquerque, Trapped at the Drive-Thru, White and Nerdy, and Angry White Boy Polka. And he says, I'll throw in a bonus one in there, Hamilton Polka. And Rick says, of course, they had flamethrowers, Matt.
I don't know. I mean, some of the 5 have already been answered, like The Night Santa Went Crazy and Amish Paradise, because I've talked about how I owned Bad Hair Day in 5th grade, and I love that album. Grapefruit Diet was also a good one. I think that was from Running from Scissors. What was the Star Wars song that he did?
The Saga Begins.
The Saga Begins. There you go. I was thinking that one too.
That was also good. And I'm trying to think of a 5th one, but without my phone in front of me, it's kind of hard to look things up. But that's all I can come up with on the spot.
All right, I'm going to make this easy because I'm not a big Weird Al fan. Amish Paradise.
What?
Sorry. Amish Paradise, Fat,
Gosh.
and there's one more I can't think of. I can't think of the other one. All right, Yield floors you. Rick saying boo Tricky. I'm just not a Weird Al guy.
Boo Tricky.
Oh, don't go making phony calls. That'll be my 5th one.
Okay.
No, they've all been said.
All right, Yield your questions or your answer. Sorry.
I just said they've all been said. I don't need to go over them.
Okay, and Matt.
So I'm going to go with Amish Paradise. It's all about the Pentiums. The Saga Begins. Dare to Be Stupid, and Yoda.
Okay.
I've heard Yoda. I've heard Dare to Be Stupid.
All right. Moving on. David Barclay wants to know best wrestling promotion and why is it AEW? It's not AEW, it's WWE.
It's Ring of Honor. Well, before Tony bought it, it was Ring of Honor.
All right, I'll accept that answer. Alex?
Honestly, they all do things that are great. They all do things that are dumb. I can't just pick one. I was going to jokingly come in and be like ECW, but then also like I did like ECW growing up and I did watch it, but also like some of the shit they did, like I don't want to see people punctured with like glass and light tubes and tacks. I hate thumbtacks. I wish they would just ban thumbtacks from wrestling completely. But I mean,
it's a good
ECW,
spot.
Huh?
It is good. It is a good spot.
No, it's not. It's terrible. I don't want to see thumbtacks sticking in a human being. So I guess I would say like, if I had to pick a best one, I'm going to say WWF in like the 80s, 90s, like early 90s. That's the best for me. But nowadays, like I like some of the people in AEW. I like some of the people in WWE. I can't just pick one.
All right, Matt, I know you're not a wrestling person, but do you have an answer?
Back in the day, so I'm split on two answers. Back in the day, I loved when Mankind was first starting to come around, and he was being the antithesis to the Undertaker. And just, it was very creepy, weird, unsettling promo he would do. And I just felt it was perfect as a foil to what Undertaker was. And then the other thing was anything by Chris Jericho in his Y2J period, because he was so arrogant. It was hilarious.
All right.
One of the greatest debuts in wrestling history.
I loved it.
All right. So last question coming from a new person in our Trophy Wars group. Shannon wants to know, trophy hunting in boost groups. I'd like to hear some of your experience in boosting groups. Some good, some bad ones, whatever you guys have experienced. Matt, I think we can skip you because I don't think you go into boosting groups for trophies, but I'm sure you've gone into some kind of boosting groups to accomplish something.
He just talked about it.
And that's about my extent of boosting groups.
Okay.
Yeah, generally I haven't really, any boosting I've done is with members of the community, like Yield for Awesome Knots. So I don't really have any horror stories or, any like really notable stories from boosting in the community. Yield probably does it more than any of us, so he could probably answer this question better than I could.
The most horror story that I have in boosting groups are those that bolt. Like let's say you need 6 people for a trophy, and there are 6 people who line up. And as soon as said person gets their trophy, they always seem to be the one that goes first or second. Once they get theirs, they split.
I hate that.
They don't. It's not a common courtesy to stick. And I haven't had it happen a lot, but I have had it happen. Luckily, I wasn't the one organizing the event. I was just like, yeah, I need that trophy. I'll help out. So that's the most annoying thing that I've had, but it's few and far between. Most of the people, especially the last few years that I've run across, is everybody sticks around, and now people are creating group chats on the PSN, and even after they get their trophy, I'll stick around. I'll be a 5th or a 6th or an 8th if you need me. And then they stick around for a couple of weeks. And if I need somebody, then they leave the chat, which I'm totally okay with, because that should be more than enough time if you got more than enough people in the chat. My best story is just the people that, are willing to help, especially on older games. I jumped in, I was going through PSN profiles, and somebody was looking for secret conflicts, or not secret, air conflicts, secret wars for the PS3. And I remember how hard it was when I went through the game not originally, because I picked it up on sale, but when I went for the platinum, of finding the 6 people to get all the multiplayer trophies. So I was like, oh, hey, I have that game. I can be cannon fodder for a few games if somebody needs it. So those are the best experiences, if people that are willing to, even they've platinumed the game years ago and they're willing to jump back in. Hey, I'll help out. So,
and my worst story is just trying to get that freaking Wildcat trophy in Burnout. It's just, you get a group of people in there, and then, instead of just everybody just chilling there waiting for everybody, you got people in there trying to do burnouts and stuff like that and wrecking people and just by the time you respawn and get back in, somebody else has been wrecked. It's a pain in the ass. I hate boosting with randoms. I'd rather boost with people I know, so I can yell at yield for punching me when I'm trying to kill him in Assassin's Creed. He's laughing because he knows he does it on purpose.
Oh, it's good stuff, though.
Yeah. All right, so with that being said, we're going to toss it into our topic of the week. Could try to go through this as quick as possible. Our topic of the week is coming from the PlayStation blog and is written by Heidi Kemps. We got 6 months left of the year, and the headline is 13 unmissable games launching in the second half of 2023. So I'm going to mention the game. If you want to talk about it, we talk about it. If not, we move on. Ready, gentlemen?
Yeah, let's go. Should be real quick.
First game, Immortals of Avium.
This is where you do the Stone Cold what?
Yeah. This is where when no one says anything, you just move on.
Yeah, you just move on.
I would just give it a second for everybody to process. Next game, Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon.
You know I'm all about this. I'm excited to see what FromSoft can do with the time it's had since the last game and all the lessons they've learned with all the Souls games they've come out.
More like the fires of Mattacon, am I right?
Oh shit, I think we got a new tagline.
Next game, Goodbye Volcano High.
That game did look interesting. I'm still waiting to see more from it.
All right, that's coming out.
Is that like a dating sim?
That's not what I got from the initial trailer from State of Play.
The description on the PlayStation blog says, senior year of high school conjures up many images of memories, prom, class rings, old friends, impending extinction. Okay, maybe that last one only matters in the hyper case of Goodbye Volcano High. This is mostly charged, narrative-driven indie gem takes us back to the age when dinosaurs ruled Earth. Contrary to what you may have heard, young dinos were filled with just as much teen angst, insecurity, and weird feelings as modern-day humans. Join the band Worm Drama and their companions as they navigate the ups and downs of eventful senior year through the branching narrative and rhythm minigames that promises to end with an earth-shattering bang.
All right.
And Ashley's in the chat saying, Alex, are you trying to get on a dating sim?
No, it looked very very dating simmy, and I know that a lot of those dating sims tend to happen in high school. There was tangents on the Jim Cornette podcast, and yeah, they ended up talking about dating sims, and so I kind of assumed that this was along those lines, but I was wrong. Although there may be some aspect of romance to this, since it is set in high school.
All right. She follows up by saying, not after the bird dating sim, Alex. We talked about this, and Rick wants to know, how many dating sims have you played? You sound like an expert.
No, 0. One of the wrestling podcasts I listened to, the host, they talk about AEW and Kenny Omega and dating sims, and Japanese culture came up, and just dating sims were a topic where people would send in information, listeners would send in information on dating sims because, of course, Jim Cornette is in his 60s and has no idea what dating sims are. So it was just them reading the synopsis to all these crazy dating sims. So,
all right. And she's been in the chat saying that Mick Foley is her favorite wrestler of all time, and Rick has agreed, and they've gone back and forth saying how lovely Mick Foley is.
Yeah, we met Mick Foley at GalaxyCon a few years ago when he was here in Louisville. He's a very nice man.
Next game on the list, Sea of Stars.
Which looks like it could be a throwback to the SNES role-playing games, which maybe Yield would like. Yield, check out that trailer if you get a chance.
The name sounds familiar, like I've seen a trailer for it.
Oh, I thought you were going to say more about that. All right, next game, Baldur's Gate 3, which Alex apparently has to buy Ashley.
No, the plans have changed.
Plans have changed.
So she wants something else for her birthday, but she will end up buying that because that game has been crazy successful so far, and I think she's very excited to play it.
Ashley says he does less talking and more screaming. I worry about his blood pressure. And then she says Baldur's Gate Wii. All right, next game on the list, The Crew Motorfest.
Yeah, the crew, whatever. That's a Ubisoft joint, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Ubisoft.
Yes.
Hey, they got a game out.
Next game on the list, Mortal Kombat 1. I'm interested in this, but I tend to buy the fighting games well after they've launched. And
So that way you know how to program it into your controller.
yes,
What you don't support them day one?
not Mortal Kombat games. And they tend to come to the services, so.
It all depends on the roster. If it has the roster I want, then I might pick it up. But if it's just, if I'm not interested in it, in the roster, the people, the collection of fighters they have, collection with a K, of course, then I'm not going to play it.
All right. Next game on the list, Enter Knights. Never even heard of this one.
You mean
Well, how about you read the description?
Is it Eater Knights? Says, who says love can't bloom on the battlefield? Studio size Enter Knights offers a unique fusion of romance simulation and adrenaline pumping action. Faced with an encroaching disaster of apocalyptic proportions, some teenagers in Seoul are still trying to live as normally as possible with it inside an underground bunker, which means youthful hormones are in full swing. Use in-game apps to meet, talk to, and bond with potential partners, each with their own unique personalities. And remember that the dialogue choices you make have far-reaching repercussions. Use the power of the connections you've made to augment your combat abilities and conquer the mutated monsters lurking within the dangerous wall.
There's a dating sim.
I think it's a little weird that you're trying to be romantic with teenagers, and that's a game, but hey. Ashley says, second that, got 2 of them in my house. Oh, in response to Rick saying fucking teenagers. All right, moving on. Assassin's Creed Mirage. I already have this pre-ordered. You guys know I'm an Assassin's Creed guy. I'm very much looking forward to this.
Assassin's Creed bleh. Assassin's Creed bleh, Raj.
Next game on the list, Alan Wake 2.
Yeah, let's go Alan Wake.
Anybody else?
No.
I know Matt's going to play that.
I'll probably wait for it. I waited, I think, like 10 years after Alan Wake 1 to play it, so...
Hey, I didn't say buy it on day one. I said play it.
Eventually down the line. I'm going to buy it like 10 years down the line. Like, son of a bitch, Alex, you were right.
Rick says, woo, oh no, digital only, fuck off. It's no longer digital only. Somebody stepped up. I forget who it was to make physical copies of the game. Next game on the list, Marvel Spider-Man 2. I already have this pre-ordered. I got the collector's edition with the bitchin' ass Venom statue.
I pre-ordered the controller.
All right, moving on. Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name.
The Like a Dragon series is something I've always wanted to try to get into, but I just so much there.
This is a offshoot of the Yakuza series.
Yep.
All right, moving on. Last game, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora.
Well,
I've
I bet
seen
Ubisoft really hopes that's going to be a good game.
The only thing from Pandora I want to see is the Borderlands.
Ubisoft being like, see, we could make games besides Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. See, we're coming out with a bunch of them. Just not Skull and Bones. Don't worry about that one.
One of these days, years,
And the
decades.
only Pandora I mess with is the music app on my phone. But all right.
No, that doesn't even deserve a rim job.
Yeah. I was
A
just-
rim job?
Rim job. Yep.
It's called a rim shot.
I don't care.
You're watching too much porn there, sir.
You definitely don't deserve a rim job either, Tricky.
I don't want a rim job. I don't want anybody's tongue anywhere near that.
You sounded awful forlorn when you said that.
I have to say, this is a rather disappointing list if they're saying this is the 13 unmissable games. I'm just putting that out there.
Well,
Good segue, Yield.
you did notice that it didn't say Starfield because this was a PlayStation only list.
Yeah, we're a PlayStation podcast. Otherwise, we'd have had Nintendo games and we'd have had.
Are you really now?
Yes, he is. He takes his pot shots where he can, and they're bad. They're just.
I wasn't taking.
I shot it down.
I wasn't taking a shot. I was being realistic.
All I know is I sent over some Nintendo news and you did not include it on the agenda.
Because it's worthless.
Worthless?
It's worthless.
Coming up to possibly beating the #1 sold console of all time is worthless?
It's worthless.
But it does tie into PlayStation.
Rick says, so you're saying that Starfield is going to be better than the next 13 PlayStation games? No, I'm saying that Starfield is going to be completely broken and it doesn't count for the rest of this year because it's not going to get fixed until the end of 2024.
I'm just saying the 13 games that they listed as unmissable, I'm going to miss pretty much all of them.
Well, okay. United Assassin's Creed, that's a big game. Spider-Man's is a big game. Alan Wake 2, even though I don't like it, is a big game.
Is it, though?
Yeah, it's highly anticipated.
Okay.
Listen, my hate doesn't negate the fact that I understand that that's a highly anticipated game.
Tricky, you could name all the games, but you're not going to change his mind. So just
I know we're not. All right, we'll close out the show. Yield your shout out, sir.
Shout out to Matt for coming on. Shout out to Alex and Tricky for recording as well. Shout out to Alex, Nitro, and Riley for playing some Rocket League Thursday. Shout out to Homer Get Stuffed. Paradire Scum and Riley for some pre-sequel on Friday. Shout out to everybody who was hanging out in the Twitch chat tonight and everybody who hangs out with us on Facebook, all the pimps and the madams of the whoredom. And a shout out to my wife for finding me that gigantic yield sign that's like totally bitching.
Matt, your shout out, sir.
Thank you, Alex, Yield, Tricky. Really appreciate you guys inviting me to be on Trophy Wars and see this going well in the future, hopefully. And shout out to my wife, V, who streams on Twitch, Gamer Veranza. Go give a like and follow. Shout out to the Channel 3 community. Find me on channel3.gg at Ender Phoenix. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Rick, Saber, Dark Knight, Ashley. Swore I saw some others back there, but it's been a long night. You guys have been active. I appreciate y'all coming by, chatting up. And shout out to Yield's wife for finding him the giant yield sign.
Alex, your shout out, sir.
Give a shout out to the listeners. The fuel to the fire, the Trophy Wars, our wonderful community. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. Thank you all for just listening to the show on a weekly basis. Giving us questions. We appreciate you all very much. A big shout out to Shannon who submitted that first question tonight. Welcome to the community. Give a shout out to my co-hosts Tricky, Matt, and Yield. Give a shout out to CM Punk because he's the best in the world. Give a shout out to Twisted Metal, particularly Twisted Metal Black, because even though it was for released on the PS4, they still had, the little when you had your PlayStation 2 and you boot up a game and it had the little PlayStation symbol came up. I can't do the sound exactly, but every PlayStation's got that little sound that they have.
Startup sound. Yeah.
Yeah. For the game. Well, they still included the PlayStation 2 one in there. So it was nice to see that even on a PS4 game. And last but not least, give a shout out to my awesome and loving girlfriend, Ashley. I love you, hun. And that is going to be, did I mention CM Punk? Oh, I did. Okay. That's going to be my shout outs.
Buy her Baldur's Gate 3.
We're doing other things for her birthday. This is her choice, not mine. I would have bought her Baldur's Gate 3. She told me today, I'll just buy Baldur's Gate 3. This is what I would rather do.
I'm telling you to buy it regardless.
How much money think I got, man?
I was going to say, listen here, Mr. Moneybags.
See, even Ashley agrees. She says buy it also. And Rick says, yeah, Alex.
Don't you pile on too, Rick, after you shit on Horizon. Not going to stand for that.
You did shit on Horizon, Rick. I want to give a shout out to everybody that listens. Thank you very much. Shout out to Matt for officially joining the horse. Maybe we can turn him into a trophy whore eventually. It's going to be a slow burn with him, I guess.
Happy birthday, Jeff.
Really?
Hey, is it just Hannah's birthday?
It was. Rick says, because you shit on Slay the Spire.
You shit on Horizon first, Rick. I did that in response to you shitting on all these other games.
And then Saber just says, whore. Shout out to
One of us. One of us. One of us.
Rick says, yeah, Horizon sucks. All right, I got to close out the show. Shout out to Alex. Shout out to Yield. Thank you for everybody for listening. And until next week, happy trophy hunting.
See ya.
Later.
This is the way.
I never plugged the Patreon.
The theme song is Venus by the band Even off their album Zenith. Permission granted by the band and 12 Stone Records. You can find them on Facebook by going to www.facebook.com/evenphilippines.